since 2015.
Hello, Hammers here again.
Only reaching 14.37 degrees Celsius.
Goodness gracious
as global
me.
temperatures rise and Britain's temperatures fall, unlucky us.
Probably a new ice age. Is that what they're going to say next? A new ice age is coming. Oh, buy your winter coats.
Good evening, Ben. Thank you for joining me. So,
Global
globally,
warming,
the
now it's
hottest
climate
summer,
change.
According to the long-term average.
Goodness
First question is,
gracious.
how long is the long-term average? How many years are we talking here?
Oh,
Well, Copernicus itself.
it
so
depends.
That observation station
How we
effectively
want to
they've been doing
manipulate the
since about
figures.
1940. But records have been going back now for around 150 years or so. So we're a reasonably
goodness.
good data set to show us where we are.
Okay, since 1940.
Yeah, that's the Copernicus one, roughly. Yeah.
Right. I mean, that
Copernicus, my Articus, goodness gracious.
This guy, we're talking about global
Copernicus.
temperatures here. It's records. The fear is driving up. The fear mongering is in place. We're being coerced and nudged into this net zero drive. When
Net
we're dealing
zero.
with a data set that is really a couple of decades.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Copernicus is coming out of the European
Oh,
Union.
Copernicus.
It's
Is he in love with
been around for
Copernicus?
that long, to some
Is
extent.
that all they can say? Copernicus this, Copernicus that.
Observation stations have been running for longer.
Observation
And I mean, I think the
stations.
more
I'll give you an
pertinent figure is
observation.
the
It's
fact that
bloody
we just
cold
had
out there.
so
It's not.
so
It's
June
not
to
got
June,
global
last
warming
month, June to
anymore.
June,
Just
was
climate
around
change.
1.5
Whee!
above the average.
Oh,
back
goodness,
in
I am
1980s,
silly, aren't I?
1900s. So that's a longer data set going over more than a century. And
Yes,
that's, I
of
think, a more
course.
relevant figure is that we
Yeah.
have effectively heated the planet over that critical boundary of 1.5 degrees. Although, yes, it may well dip down now as we go out the El Nino, La Nina stage.
Oh, here
from
we go
El
with the El Nino and all the rest of it.
Which means there's a cooling stage.
Cooling
So we may
stage.
well
Oh,
dip down
goodness.
again.
Oh, we're cooling now.
That's the
Good. It's like a
relevant
boiling
data
kettle, isn't it? It cools when it's
Can I
boiled.
ask you? I want to give you some statements.
Goodness
from previous
gracious.
years. I relay these to people, to climate guests we have over the weeks.
There we
and
go.
months
Let's
on
listen
this
to what
channel.
this man's got to
In
say.
2000, a senior climate scientist, David Viner, are you familiar with him? He said
What?
climate change was so bad that children just aren't going to know what snow is by the year 2020. In 2018, Greta Thunberg tweeted that humanity
Oh,
would be wiped
goodness.
out if we didn't stop using fossil fuels, and she deleted that tweet last year.
Oh, good.
In
Yeah, well,
1971, the Washington Post reported comments from a NASA climate chief that
NASA.
a new ice age was coming. In 1978,
Never
the
a
UN
straight
said
answer.
Maldives
That's
could
what NASA
obliterate
stands
nations,
for.
including the Maldives, completely by the year 2000. In 2004,
goodness.
The Guardian reported on a Pentagon climate report that Britain would, quote, have a Siberian climate by 2020. And lastly, in 2009, Prince
Siberia.
Charles at the time said we had just 96 months to save the world.
What a
Nobody's saying that
stupid
global temperatures
statement.
aren't
I don't get it.
But how do you expect people to believe there is a crisis, and that's the key word,
Crisis.
when
There's a
so
crisis
many
every
predictions
week.
suggest
One
the year
crisis
has been
after another.
completely wider than March?
It's just a silly way to
I
keep
think some
people
people
terrified and
are not scientists
frightened.
and that sort of thing. So to some extent, we take those as exclamations under an emotional, time or whatever.
Emotional. You can't have emotion in science. Goodness gracious.
Scientific body in the entire world, which is the IPCC.
Oh, it's
So
emotional.
that
It's an
reports
emotional
scientists,
comment. When it
those
doesn't
reports
work,
are
it's
modified
emotional.
by governments even before they get
Oh,
out.
my
So
Lord,
governments
have
get the
mercy
opportunity to come in
again.
and say the wording's wrong, and they generally dumb down those reports when they come out. And they
Dumb
came out
down.
during COP26 with Assessment Report 6. And that report came out.
Look
and
at him
said
with his
that
hands and
our
he's
carbon
very
budget, staying at
demonstrative,
1.5
isn't he? Look at
degrees,
him.
Would effectively run out in 2028.
Oh,
And
it's now
that has been
2028.
repeated in warnings coming. And when we talk
Oh,
about the carbon
goodness
budget,
gracious.
we have
Look at the
seen
hands.
a very
Look
clear
at him.
tracking in the temperatures that's going up.
Oh,
It's
yes,
also
up,
related
down
to
and
the
shaking his
carbon
hands.
that's going
What's he
into the
doing
atmosphere,
now?
Which has been accelerated by us. Not only us, obviously, there are other things that are happening.
China,
And they're rapidly
Russia,
together.
India.
And the most robust, most
Go and knock on their doors and ask them to go
has said that we've
global
got a very
green,
big
global,
problem.
whatever
Our
it's
carbon
called,
budgets are running out.
green,
And between
net
1.5
zero.
and 2 degrees, that's where we get what a lot of scientists are worried about.
I know what
which is
China will tell you.
tipping points.
And it
that's
begins
when
with
we
F
may
and ends
lose
with
Arctic,
off.
Antarctic ice sheets. We may lose permafrost and see a release of methane.
Look at the
So that's
hands,
the
look
danger
at how
point.
demonstrative
Just
he
to
is.
come in there just on one second,
Look at him.
Very important for
Look
the
at him.
record, which is
Oh.
critical in terms of the danger. The Antarctic back in March this year was
Oh, God.
38.5 degrees above the average. Whatever
Again, how long was the average?
But I was about to say, whatever data set you take, even if you took it as only over 100 years or so, that's a vast increase.
Oh, I'm
If you
going.
put
I've heard in.
38.5
I've
even as a freak one-off,
I've said I've gone on
well, you
vegetarian
can't
spaghetti. I've
freak
gone off the
one-off. But even as a freak
vegan
one-off,
beans.
That's a lot of temperature.
Okay.
But I'm getting a lot of rumbling in my stomach after hearing all this, and it's the spaghetti coming out. Goodness gracious me.
Government wants to send migrants.
Rwanda. I've heard that story. You couldn't make it up. It's like a Benny Hill comedy show, isn't it, eh? Benny Hill, Benny Hill. Goodness gracious me. Benny Hill, Bring him back. Only he could come up with a story like this. Luanda. Good gracious me. Goodbye.